the first Michael Cobb, when I saw him show up, he was the pastor at the Woodbury United Methodist Church. He's been transferred out to Danbury, so he's usually occupied elsewhere on Sunday afternoons. When I saw him come, I said, "Michael, would you like to speak?" He said, "No, that's okay." But then when he heard the speech, he came over and said, "Yeah, Rick, I want to speak." So, Michael Cobb.
Thanks.
Shout it out. This is recording for the live cast.
Hold that away when you shout.
Yeah, don't shout right into it.
Thanks. I think I know most of you. This is great. I don't know that I've ever talked about this here, but one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about is comic books. Love comic books. As the art form has grown and become more sophisticated, we now have graphic novels, which is using the form to tell long-form, more mature stories. If this is not your thing, you may not know that the only conviction in all of American history on obscenity in the arts was on a comic book. It happened in the 1990s. Shortly after that, an organization was founded that I've been involved with for a long time called the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. And the reason for that is because a lot of people think of comics as something for children or unambitious adults. And so that makes them very easy legal targets. It is no coincidence that they are what is targeted in this case. And the reason I came over and told Rick I wanted to talk was because I was at a comic book convention when Blankets came out. I met the author. He doodled in my copy. Have any of you read Blankets? All right. It's about that thick. There is some sexual content in it, but the overall arch of the story is the author's growing up in a very strict evangelical Christian household, and by the end of the book, how he's decided that if that's God, then he wants no part of it and loses his religious faith completely. It seems to me that it may not be a coincidence that people targeting books for a ban may be targeting books that have that type of a message in them, and that's even before you get to any other more challenging content. And so thank you so much for bringing that up. The other thing I wanted to bring up, as you were getting at transparency, it made me think about the people that want to ban, as far as I can tell, are rarely transparent about why they want to ban. They will say, here's the reason, the actual reason is over here. So I agree, reading the books is important. And you mentioned a quote from Representative John Lewis. And it sounds like most people who are here know who John Lewis was. He was a man in the civil rights movement, and he experienced some violence during his time. Now, the last book that he wrote during his lifetime was a book that he co-authored called March. Have any of you read March? It's a graphic novel. It's a 3-part, thick comic book. It's maybe 600 pages. Some of you may have heard that he ran into some difficulties in a march at the Pettus Bridge. When you see this illustrated from his point of view by a talented artist, it is horrifying and it is sickening. And it becomes impossible to downplay what this man experienced when you've seen it that way. It's one of the reasons I'm passionate about comic books, is because you can see things that way. But it's also one of the reasons why people want to ban things like this, because when you get to hear someone's explanation of why they have rejected religion or things like that, you identify with this person in a way that you don't in other types of media. So read March. It's really good. Blankets is good. March is better. But I just want to thank you for pointing out that a lot of the times what's being done is being done very intentionally so that you don't see the actual final goal. And I think that one of the benefits of an organization like Justice Southbury is that network to talk about this stuff and make sure that whatever we decide we want to do as activists, we do eyes wide open. And man, I miss you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you.